So the MT09 first came to our shores in 2013, and since then the bike has been pretty much soundly critically acclaimed. Well, for the 2024 model, it's been hugely refreshed. It's got new engine internals, it's got new styling, it's got new brakes, new suspension, new electronics. Basically, there's a whole lot new about this bike that was already good. So the question is, have they made it any better? Stick around and stay tuned, I'll tell you. Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. And welcome back to the channel and another first ride review. And spoiler alert, in answer to that question I just posed before the titles, yes, they have improved it. I remember riding the MT09 before and thinking, yeah, it's a nice bike but nothing that special, but having just jumped on it, this is literally my first ride on the bike. I already know that this is now something very, very special. Now if you've been a long-term viewer of my channel, you'll know what a fan I am of triple engined machines. And this of course has got the excellent Yamaha CP3 triple engine in it, 890cc, and it is an absolute beast. It just wants to have fun the whole time. This, it really brings out the hooligan in you, even though it's very much a middleweight these days. It's up there, to me at least, with Super Nakeds in terms of fun factor. It's lightweight and the thing goes like stink. It sounds epic as well. It's got that great triple whine about it, and Yamaha have taken care to make sure the rider enjoys the sound of the machine by the sound of the machine by putting these little sort of speaker grills here where the airbox is, so you get an amazing induction noise as you ride it. Oh, man, this thing is a thrill ride. Sorry for going quiet for a bit, just having to concentrate. Oh, what a nutter machine, I love it. Alright, before we talk more about the ride, let me show you over the beast. Alrighty, there is this magnificent beast then. I think now this bike is a real looker. They've made some great improvements on the way the thing looks. Most striking thing perhaps about it are the wheels on this particular colour scheme. I've got the grey one with the blue wheels. Can't quite make my mind up whether I like them or not. I think I do actually. I quite like having outrageous wheels on bikes. The big difference for me is at the front end here, where they've now got this different sort of nacelle on the front, and I think it makes the bike look very Iron Man like, very much like something. Is it Jeffrey Stark, John Stark? Anyway, if Iron Man rode a motorcycle, I think it would look like this. This would actually look great, wouldn't it, in Iron Man colours, to be fair. There's a little custom idea for you. But yeah, they've done a nice job, I think, on the front. It looks much better than all the previous iterations as far as I'm concerned. Not too sure about the two lights stuck up here, but I do like these little running lights. If I just turn it on, there we go. You can see what the running lights look like. Pretty cool, that, I think. Alrighty, what else to show you? Coming around here, there of course is that CP3 engine, which we'll talk more about later. Seat's been radically redesigned, as has the fuel tank. This now is absolutely massive looking. It is actually made of metal as well, I'm glad to say. I don't know what I'm glad to say. Oh, you can use a magnetic tank bag, I guess. Round the back, could always do with a tail tide, of course, but a lot like they've done with the rear light on it. And yeah, overall, I think it is now a handsome looking machine, which is not something I've said about an MT09 before. Really do like the way this looks. Not sure this is necessarily the best colour, but yeah, they've done a nice job on the styling. Oh, they've done this treatment on the radiators as well. Not too sure about that, to try and hide the massive radiator, but yeah, overall I think the styling works now, and to my mind that is a good looking bike. Okay, welcome back. Let's talk about the ride on this beast then. And as you've probably already guessed, it's pretty sporting. Well, let's calm down a moment and just go through matters practical, shall we, in the usual way. So let's start off with comfort, riding position, that sort of thing. Well, I have to say, in many ways this bike reminds me of the Triumph Street Triple, and the riding position also reminds me very much of that, in that you're sat upright with a slight lean forward, a little bit more length forward than I remember on an MT09 actually. They have changed the seating geometry on it for 2024. Your legs are tucked up in a relatively sporty position. Not too bad, but just enough to let you know you're on something that means cornering potential. A little bit of weight on your arms, nothing too serious, but just enough to cant you forward slightly. And nice and wide handlebars. It's a really comfortable place to be in terms of the riding position. What's not so comfortable about it is the seat, which is a little bit hard. But I might be being a little bit unfair there because I've literally only been on the bike for 10 minutes so far. So I don't know how it would fare over longer periods of time. I mean, on first cheek contact, it feels a bit hard to the backside. But it's actually quite nicely shaped. It's nice and narrow at the front, which obviously aids in getting your legs down on the deck. But it's quite wide at the back. And I can move around a bit. I'm a medium-sized guy and it's perfect size for me. I'm thinking if you're a big person, it may be a little bit uncomfortable, I don't know. But I think from a comfort point of view, it's alright. Now, is there going to be an opportunity to pass this Merc here? Love this bike already. It's fantastic in terms of confidence inspiring. Yes, there is, nothing behind. Quick shifter as standard, works beautifully as you'd expect on a Yamaha. Up and down the box, it just works as well, you know, as it should. No clunkiness here. I like it a lot. This bike comes in at just over 10 grand. And I'll tell you what, you don't have to get a lot for your money. We'll go through the specs in a second. But just as standard, that quick shifter, for example. As standard, cruise control, for example. A really nice TFT. 6-axis IMU. With all that entails. So things like lean angle sensitive ABS and traction control. I've seen quite a bit of the traction control already on this ride. You get a lot for your money on this bike. I think from a value for money point of view, it's tip top with this machine. Alright, next up then on this first ride review, what are we looking at on the handlebars? What's the switchgear like? Well, I have to say, it's really good. Yamaha, look, the switchgear on here is different to any other bike I've ridden before. It's as if somebody from Yamaha has actually donned a pair of riding gloves and designed the kit, the switches, to work with it. So for example, you've got this big joystick over here to control the TFT functions, and that is easy to use with your glove. It's not fiddly, you can get at it, you feel, you know, tactilely when you've pressed it, it works a treat. Nice chunky cruise control over on the left hand handlebar, beautiful. Something that is quite different and odd, but I've kind of got used to it now, is this indicator. Oops, switch here, just hit the horn by mistake. So maybe that's a bit sensitive. This indicator switch, look, it's massive and chunky. Really easy to feel when you've got it with your gloved hands on, so top marks for the switch gear on the bike. And then over on the right hand side, you've just got the mode switch, which just changes on the fly. In fact, I've been in street mode. Let's change it now to sport. Look at that, no messing about. You just touch the mode switch and it's straight into the next mode. So yeah, top marks for switch gear. Let's now hopefully lose this car, so I can turn up here and just see if this sport mode makes any noticeable difference. Got to be a bit careful because I am only on these country lanes. Oh, bother, he's going the way I want him to go. That's annoying. Oh, he's turning off. Excellent. Right, here we go then. The front goes really light all the time on this. You can just feel it wanting to wheelie. Let's slow down here. You can just feel it wanting to wheelie. But it does have the electronics to keep the front wheel on the ground. If like me, you're a wheelie scaredy cat, so you can have fun on it without it going nuts on you. Handling wise, it is lovely around here. Super confidence inspiring. Already I feel at one with this bike. It's nice for my size frame. It's nice the way my legs just tuck in underneath that sculpted fuel tank. And that little cant forward that your body's got just gives you, puts a little bit of weight over the front. That means the turn in on it is lovely. Yeah, I can see why so many people have raved about the MT09 in the past. I get it now. Alright, while I'm repenting for my sins at having not got it in the past, let me just whiz you through the spec on this machine. Alright, let's quickly talk numbers then. Starting off with this engine, this is the CP3 triple cylinder unit, 890cc, puts out 119 PS, I think it's about 122 brake horsepower, something like that, at 10,000 RPM, and 93 Newton meters of torque at 7,000 RPM, and it is an absolutely hooligan unit. There's dual 298mm discs on the front with what looks like 4-pot calipers in the usual Yamaha way. I noticed it's actually got a Brembo master cylinder on the front. At the back end we've got a single 245mm disc and a single pot Nissin caliper. Suspension wise, at the front we've got this upside down 41mm telescopic fork, which is fully adjustable, as you can see. And at the rear this monoshock gives it 117mm of travel at the back end. The seat on the bike is 825mm. It's a new 2-piece seat. It's 12mm narrower than before at the front, and I find it easy to get my feet flat on the deck at 5'8" with a 32-inch leg. The wet weight of the bike is 193 kilograms, so it's nice and light, this one. The tank capacity on here, 14 litres, and I really like it. I mean, it looks huge, this tank, but it's basically been re-sculpted so that you can grip it well with your knees, and I just think it looks great, and it's a bonus that it's metal as well. Right, let me just show you the handlebars and controls on here, because I do like these. I raved about them a bit earlier. Check out the switchgear on here. Really chunky and really nicely designed, I think. If we fire this up, I'll show you what the TFT looks like when it comes up. Hopefully there's not too much reflection. Here goes the TFT. Really easy to control as well. I never read manuals, but I have to say, using this button here, it's very easy. Look, if you just press the home button, it brings this little bar up at the bottom, and then you can use the little button here to scroll around, and everything's there to change for you. It's dead easy to use. Really like that. From an electronics point of view, this has all sorts of stuff. 6-axis IMU, fancy rider aids including sport, street, rain, 2 custom riding modes, power maps, traction, slide control system, lift control, brake control, quick shifter, backsliff regulation, cruise control as standard, which is nice to see. Ultra compact twin projector headlamps, 5-inch TFT, and connectivity via the Yamaha MyRide app. So everything and more than you're ever going to need there. Price wise, the new MT09 comes in at £10,106 according to the website. Alrighty, welcome back aboard. Let's just try those brakes out then, shall we? Once we get on a bit of a straight road. Nothing behind me. Very little fork dive actually. Nice braking on it, nice bit of feel to it. Doesn't feel wooden at all. Get out in front of the white van. Yeah, so brakes work really nice. Suspension set as it comes out the factory. Well, I hesitate to use my Goldilocks zone saying, but it is in the Goldilocks zone. It's not too hard, it's not too soft. Feels just right for me. I'm about 75 kilograms at the moment, and it's just on the right side of comfort, you know, that it doesn't jar your fillings out and things like that. It's there's no doubt it is a sporty ride, but it's nicely done. The suspension on this, nice and plush. So having changed to sport mode just now, I'm not sure I can feel an immediate difference, to be honest. In bog standard ride mode it was pretty darn pokey. Not noticing a big difference here. Let's just quickly whiz by some of this traffic while I've got a chance. Oh, maybe not. Ambulance coming. I don't want to be his next customer. So I've got this bike for a couple of weeks thanks to the guys at Yamaha UK, so thank you to those for lending me the bike. So I will endeavour to ride this quite a bit more during my period with it, and I'll bring you a more in-depth and considered review in a couple of weeks, so stick around and stay tuned to the channel for that. On that I'll go over my lessons learned, and I'll ride it in some different conditions and on some different types of roads as well, because this is just a back road blast really for this initial review. Although to be fair, these are the sort of roads, if I had one of these bikes, this is what I would ride it on. It's very much a back road blaster. But I imagine you could use it to commute, you could use it to tour and everything else, but I'll go through that in more detail in that next in-depth review. Anything about the bike that I don't like on this initial ride? Nothing significant, I have to say. The only small niggle I've got is it does feel like some corners maybe have been cut because it's built to a price, I guess. Things like these little rubber bands on the handlebar. I don't like these sort of cable ties to hold some of this cable back, which is kind of held together by being wrapped by some basically insulation tape around it. That sort of thing looks a bit sloppy. You know, I like it when manufacturers take the time to hide those sorts of things within the handlebars, which you would find, for example, on the Triumph. But a small point. Other than that, there's nothing about the bike that I've spotted so far that I really don't like. It goes and stops really well. It seems like a comfortable riding position. Jury's out long term as to what that seat would be like, because it is, you know, could do maybe with a bit more padding. But if you've got a padded backside, that'd be alright. It seems nice to handle in slow speed as well as at high speed. It's confidence inspiring, great grip from the tyres. It's fitted with, I think it's got Bridgestone battle axes on these as standard. They seem perfectly good, but it is a nice dry day, so it's feeling pretty grippy at the moment. Quick shifter is lovely. It's got a great level of equipment on it as standard, as I say. And just a smidge over 10 grand really represents great value for money, I reckon. Sounds good. Why wouldn't you want one? So I guess the question is, would you rather have one of these than a street triple? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? And when I jumped on the bike thinking about that, I thought, you know what, I'd rather have a street triple, because I'm a bit of a Triumph fanboy and I do like the way that bike looks. But actually, I think if anything, this might even be more fun than the latest street triple. It's got a real hooligan about this, which in itself might be a downside. I'm untrustworthy on a motorbike, as you may have already seen on the review. I find it difficult to control myself when I'm faced with a motorcycle like this. So yeah, if you've got good self-control, then this is the bike for you. But I guess go with the machine you like the look of. But yeah, you can't argue with the value for money on this, can you? Absolutely cracking bike. So on that note, that's it for my first ride review. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you've not been to the channel before, I don't just do bike reviews here on the Missing Flyer, but I do bits and pieces about looking after your bike in the garage, trips and tours at home and abroad, monthly bike news, the odd live stream, sometimes even kit reviews. Basically, you name it, I'll try and do it here on the channel. It'll be great to have you along. Do hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, however, I shall keep riding the MT09 some more through this glorious British countryside, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missing Flyer. Cheerio.
Hey kids, we're the Missing Flyers.
Regardless of specs and all that caper, at the end of the day, what makes a bike special is how it makes you feel, isn't it, when you ride it? And I have to say, on that rating, this bike is very special because it makes you feel brilliant. It's just an absolute weapon, the MT09. I love it. Oh look, white van hindering progress. Makes a change.